So for me, the basic question becomes, what is the human condition that all of us are dealing with? And what I've learned quite early in my life, but much more profoundly later, was that my thinking is not systematic. It's often random. It's scattered. My words are more or less well considered, but often more controlled by vanity than by wisdom. And my actions are very often driven by motives that I'm not proud of. And so for me, the question really becomes, how do I manage all that? The idea of ritual for me means that I can establish, under certain circumstances, I can establish ways, patterns of living, which includes postures, gestures, language, even meditations, contemplations, certain prayers, for example, that help to stabilize and normalize what's otherwise a very random experience in the world. An experience that just responds adaptively to whatever seems to be coming at me. I believe it's a very ancient human adaptation that we evolved long before we lived in civilizations. So meditation is just a way of me establishing a period of calm, of balance. I do that with postures and gestures. By the way, we always assume postures and gestures. All human beings do that all the time. But in terms of ritual, when I sit down to meditate, I try and assume a stable, balanced posture. And I often try to focus on my breathing just to get myself calm and centered, because my breathing is always with me. It's an anchor for my life. And all of us breathe all the time, we're just not aware of it. So for me, ritual really means establishing a set place, usually, or places, a posture, sometimes gestures, sometimes brief prayers to get me balanced and centered. And then usually it just means returning to my breathing and following my breathing. And when my mind digresses, when it wanders off in one direction or the other, I gently bring it back. It's like remembering my breathing is like finding a friend in a crowded shopping mall, for example, and I see an old friend and I welcome him or her, and I come back to that. And meditation reveals for me that there really is a center of calm and peace in my heart. For those that are theistically inclined, it's often said that meditation is when we listen to God instead of speaking to God. And I find that to be very, very helpful, because I repress my intuitions, my ability to use my peripheral vision, to pay attention to my emotional or affective states. And nowadays when I meditate, people will come to mind, people sometimes that I haven't seen in a very long time. And my first step when I notice that in meditation is to reach out to them and reconnect, because we're all part of a matrix and a web of interactions, of loving interactions, of caring interactions. And meditation is one of the ways that I, on a daily basis, can reestablish that. I meditate every day, usually for a minimum of 20 minutes, often much more than that, and often in more than one period. One of the teachers that I like a lot has a sign, says that there's a sign on the inside of the door going out into the world saying meditation hall. And the lessons that we develop in meditation, in my experience, can be carried into our whole lives. And they help to balance me and help me recognize, identify the circumstances in which I feel a reflexive, habitual response coming up. They do come up, but I don't have to be controlled by them. And in my opinion, my ability to overcome those more self-centered, even narcissistic reflexes, selfishness, conceit, vanity, my ability to identify when those responses come up, anger, judgment, is that I can notice it and not be controlled by it. And for me, if God's will is acting through me or in my life, it means when I abstain from or identify and don't pursue those more self-centered, selfish interests. So.